everybody, my name is Joshua James, and welcome back to another review of Dark Side of the Ring. We are getting ready to review Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Nancy Argentina. With me, as always, my good buddy, my brother, Richard.
Hi. I'm trying to sort of work out what to do because I've only got a little picture up here. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got like a little thumbnail picture and I'm like, I can't see.
Now, I know we kind of lost track on, I know the Dino Bravo one just started last night, and the Snuka one was last week, but we've been busy with other things and also personal things that's been going on with us, so we're sorry for, doing this a little late, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah.
Now,
I would say.
yeah. So, what did you think of the documentary, Richard?
It were another very dark one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we said when we were messaging. It's another Benoit style one. It's an absolute legend that's going to be remembered for that one thing now, and not so much his wrestling and what he did in the ring. He's going to be remembered for killing a 23-year-old, something like that. I mean, that's no age.
Still, it's way too young. Way too young.
Yeah, I mean, it's 23. She could have done anything with her life. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But yeah, that's what he's always going to be remembered for now, and it's another career, another legacy down the shitter.
Seriously. I mean, here's the thing. I've met Jimmy Superfly Snuka before, and like I told you before we started recording, I met him when I was in middle school, and this is when he was returning to Portland. Well, I should say Portland. It was in Salem, but still, it was in Portland wrestling, and I got to meet him. And you want to talk about a guy who is like literally like the sweetest and nicest guy? Like I know like there are nice wrestlers, but like this guy was like a general sweet man, like a nice dude.
Yeah.
Like he told middle school me that he murdered his girlfriend back in the 80s. Middle school me would never believe you. He would never believed you.
It's so often the way. I mean, it's all them people that met Benoit. If you'd have told them, like, if they met him the night, met WrestleMania, or a couple of years from now, this is going to happen. It's just such a tragedy. I mean, it's one of them things. Like, say you've met him, so that's like your childhood that's just gone down Swanee.
Yeah, literally, because I was Superfly Snuka was definitely one of my heroes as a little kid. I always loved imitating him. I always loved doing the Superfly move. Like he was always one of my favorites growing up as a little kid. Like I know I always said Hogan was my number one, but it was like Snuka was definitely one of the guys who I looked up to because I thought he was really cool, different. It was like an actual caveman.
Alexander said at the end of the documentary, we're ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
He were doing high-flying stuff before it would even... I mean, nowadays, if he'd have come on scene now, he wouldn't have necessarily got that big break. It'd have just been, it's just another kid who bounces off at ropes. But when he started doing it in the 80s, it was like, this dude's jumping off the top rope, and it's not right.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Like, where did this guy come from? And he looked like a legit caveman, too.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I mean, they said he was a real-life Tarzan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ozzy wanted to play fetch. But, yeah, like, now, you didn't know about this incident with the whole Nancy and Snuka thing. You didn't know about it until the trial was reopened, right?
No, yeah, it wasn't until it came out a few years ago that they were reopening it and everything. And I mean, obviously, like social media, Facebook, and all that sort of stuff. Something popped up, and I was like, "No way! He's supposed to have killed his girlfriend." So I'm like, did a little bit of reading. I was like, "Oh, that can't be right. It can't be right. There's no way." And then, the more I read, and it was like, "Whoa, this is grim." And then obviously with the documentary going right into it and exactly what did happen, it was like, "Whoa, wait, it was surreal."
Yeah, right. Like it's just like it just knowing about like I knew this was going to be a dark and depressing documentary, but like it was like the Benoit one. It's just the one part that it just made me sad more. Like knowing like if he did murder her, the part that's sad about it is like Nancy will never get justice. That's the part
No,
that's the shame. Like her family's never gonna get any peace for this. Like so, it's
no,
just
there's no closure.
yeah, no closure.
No closure at all. Just like the other Nancy.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Woman.
ooh, two Nancys.
Oh, jeez, that's scary.
Yeah, let's not go down that road.
Mm-mm.
That's
We're calling Nancy Benoit just woman, just that.
yeah. Well, she would be referred to as woman. Yeah, but yeah, both of them called Nancy and spelt the same.
And the part that's just is that she was just a wrestling fan.
Yeah, yeah. She literally went to shows, didn't she, with a friend who were dating. Can't remember his name. I'd never heard of him, but that don't mean no.
Johnny
And
Rad.
she, yeah, and she just met Snooker, and that were it, wasn't it?
I
Fell in
also
love and
heard that
everything.
I don't know if they mentioned this. I don't know if they did or not, but I know it's been mentioned other places that Nancy also dated Hulk Hogan for a little bit.
No, it never got mentioned in that documentary.
Okay, so yeah, like, but yeah, it's been mentioned to other people, and I've heard people others say this too. Like, she dated Hulk Hogan for a little bit before she got with Snuka.
You can see why Snooker was so protective of her, though, and keep her away from rest of wrestlers. But no, that never got mentioned in documentary. But I was quite shocked when they were going into it about this really love story and everything, and then all of a sudden they just threw in, oh yeah, and they were married. I was like, what?
Yeah, like knowing that Snuka was married while he was with Nancy. I mean, like, oh,
Yeah, I was like, it was just building up to this really lovely, like, true love story, and then they just went on his wife. I was like, excuse me, what now?
yeah, right. You're like, wait, what?
He's married. Okay, I didn't see that one coming, and that could have been mentioned a bit earlier. That would have been a bonus for me. But yeah, I think that just added to the shock value. And she was so calm about it at the end when she was saying her piece. There were no, oh, I hated him for cheating on me and all this. It was just like how she felt for her family that they're never going to get justice for what happened, and it's like, how can you be so calm? But I suppose she's had years to process it.
Yeah.
And she'll have resolved all her anger towards him and everything. So
I mean, like also for people, if you fair warning, if you do watch this documentary, if you are very sensitive or have a past from abuse, then warning that there's a lot of that in this one. So
yeah,
like it's just like didn't know it was like I heard it was like poison of relationship in the end, but I did not know it was that bad.
no,
Like
I mean the bit where they were on about when a sister that's in it most when they got Chinese and she went and sat with him and he just reached out as if he were going to grab her by the throat and she was like, whoa. And she just went, no, I'm not eating with you guys. And she just walked off and then Nancy came up and like, oh no, he's just having a tough time and everything. It's like, I've had a tough time, but I won't grab somebody by the throat.
yeah, right.
I've had crap days at work. I won't go home and grab somebody by the throat just because I've had a bad day. And then he's waving an apology with a little bag of cocaine.
I mean, the Coke was very popular in the '80s. That's one thing I do know for
Yeah,
wrestling, especially.
they were popular everywhere, wasn't it? It were the yuppie drug we called it over there in the 80s. So a lot of like businessmen and computer programmers and stuff all took it in so they could stay focused and stuff. But yeah, I mean the fact that he just went, oh yeah, there's a bag of cocaine there, as if that were just an everyday acceptable
Now,
apology.
that's one thing they also mention about this one is that he had a very bad cocaine addiction.
Yeah,
Like you mentioned to me earlier, is like you thought it would be most likely steroids, but just
yeah, yeah.
but
Given his physique, I would have thought steroids would have been. And when it mentioned something about drugs early on, I thought, hey, physique like that, it's going to be steroids. It's going to be another Benoit style scenario. And then when they just went on about how he were just blatantly snorting cocaine while I forgot his name now. We've just mentioned him before we started recording. The guy with his manager.
Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, Buddy Rogers, absolute legend. And he's driving him because I'm assuming Snooker didn't have a driving license.
Yeah.
And he's just sat in back of car. That is just not normal behaviour.
Yeah, like he just snorting cocaine in his and like in the front seat or the back, and you're like, you do realize you have a legend with you who's traveling you around the world, taking the time out being with you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, more for Buddy Rogers for not saying something to Vince, because that could have all been avoided.
But it was just knowing, like, when you watch this documentary, when you were hearing some of the people who were part of it, did you have a feeling that some of them knew, like, they were keeping a secret and all that kind of stuff, like they were hiding something while they were?
It mostly it starts off talking to her sister, doesn't it? Really, it's not till later on then they bring Sam Fatu in, and to me, he was just like that. Like he said, he was a massive snooker fan, and when he met him, and it was like, oh, we're going to put you with him. It was like, oh, brilliant, this guy's going to look after me. And to me, he had, like the proverbial rose-tinted glasses on because it was like, oh, it's snooker, it can do no wrong. At times it was like he sort of tried to condone his behaviour. But then when they mentioned about how Snooker had told them that Nancy had slipped, but that Sam Fatu were in the car, and that never got mentioned. And he was like, I never heard that story.
Yeah, like that's. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, but it's like he didn't even know that. But most of the way through, whenever they mentioned out to him, it was, oh no, he was such a nice guy, and it was like he was defending him, and it was like he kind of refused to accept the truth. And then the copper they brought in at end, I mean, it's like police sergeants go from what he said, he wasn't either used an ornament. And, when it comes to running a police department, they might as well have used him as a chocolate fire guard for what good he did, by the sounds of it. And then, the stuff that we'll get to as it gets to the back end of the documentary, but I mean, that Nancy's sister had no to lose by being honest. I mean, she said, that they tried everything with him, but he was just one of them people that just isolated himself because he'd grown up without a family. He had nobody. He'd always been on his own, so he didn't know how to interact with people, which is fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that Sam Fatu definitely seemed to have a very biased opinion towards him. Don Morocco were quite open about it, about how it could be a bit funny at times, but there were only really a sister that showed that mentioned anything about how he could be nasty, and stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of hard to judge it from that.
Yeah, like when I was watching this, I think he was the police officer who was on the case when Nancy died. I think it was him who was they were talking to. He was very odd. Like he kept stuttering a lot. Like he couldn't keep a sentence and all that kind of stuff. It's like he was hiding something.
He was the chief of police at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, there we go.
Well, if you remember, like, we're gonna it's going to skip towards what they tell you end, but as usual, tangent masters.
Yeah.
When they were on about the last meeting that they had with him, with Vince McMahon, and this last meeting, but there's no notes of it. But every police meeting, interview, whatever, is recorded in some way. Mm-hmm. But that one meeting has absolutely nothing at all. And Vince walked in with a briefcase, and then all of a sudden everything gets dropped, and he gets to walk away. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. So some of these palms have been greased there. I mean, I'm not saying Vince did it, but something's gone somewhere, and because there wouldn't be any way that they could conduct an interview and not have any sort of record of it. It just don't happen. I'm sorry, not even in a small police station like that.
Yeah, right. Like you think like they would still keep recordings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like like just knowing that, like if that's true, like Vince McMahon like gave him like probably the briefcase was full of cash. That's my guess.
You see, I weren't going to say anything because you never know who's watching and powers that be and stuff. But I mean, that's the impression they gave.
The person who said that, so I know I'm not the only one. So what are they gonna do? Like go after a guy who is just doing a review? I'm just doing a review. Like that's what I'm just doing. Like Vince, you're getting sued already, so why would you get after me?
Yeah, exactly. Bring it.
Yeah.
And
I've been I've been defending you and all that kind of stuff, and you still like. I would expect someone else, but like, but the thing is, like, it's probably cash. Like, we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know exactly what happened in that room, and nobody else does because there's no official record.
Yeah.
So as well. I mean, this is going to be a slight spoiler if anybody hasn't watched it yet. If you remember back to when they were asking him about that last meeting, the ex-chief of police couldn't look straight in the camera. He was looking all around like that. He couldn't look straight in the camera because obviously the camera will have had the thing on the top of it so he could see his face. And he was looking up, round, behind him, everywhere, but into the camera when he was like, oh, well, there were no record. And, it just didn't seem right that he couldn't just look straight on and say, oh, yeah, we've no record of it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you could definitely tell he's hiding something.
That didn't help matters at all. That made it look a lot, greasier than he already did.
Yeah, like this guy, like being such a sneak, like you could definitely tell he's hiding something.
Yeah,
he just won't say anything.
Yeah, I mean, he just made it look more suspicious than it had to be. If he'd just sat there and gone, well, at the end of the day, there's no records and it's just one of those things, that's fine. But to not be able to look in camera and be like, no, sorry.
Yeah, right. I mean,
did himself no favors.
But the thing is, like, even if it was like Vince McMahon giving out money and all that kind of stuff, there's no record, so technically there's nothing they could do about it. Mm-hmm. So Vince, like, let's say Vince did do this, pay them off and all that kind of stuff, so everything that doesn't get mentioned. Vince gets away scot-free. Same with Snuka. Until 30 years later.
Yeah, when they can't really do it, and then when they did get Snuka into court, they said, he weren't compass mentis enough to be able to defend himself, or I mean, that were a shame.
It really is.
I mean, it were more of a shame for Nancy's family.
That's one thing that makes me sad about it, is like I felt real, like, even for me, like as a Superfly fan, just watching them, I felt like so bad, like so sad, like it was like with the Nancy woman's sister and David Benoit, I felt sad for them, like, and just knowing what's going on with this family, it's just like this, like it's just
it's like we said, there's no closure to it. It's one of those things, and it's like I can totally see why they'd want to see him brought to justice, because for all intents and purposes he killed their sister.
Yeah.
So I'd want.
Hang on. Hey guys, I'm still recording. We're doing a review right now.
Okay.
I'll call you guys when we're.
See if you are ready or not. So.
Not yet. We'll be ready after we're done with the review. Okay.
Yeah, give us about 4 hours.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, guys.
Okay.
All right, bye. Sorry about that.
They interrupted. That's rude.
Rude.
But yeah, I mean, I felt for the family that there's. I mean, obviously, parents have passed by it sounds a bit, but sisters aren't going to get to see that justice. And if it were me, I want to see justice carried through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying behead him and parade his head on a pike around center. I'm just saying, prove that even people like him aren't above the law, even after all this time. There's ways and means and stuff. But it was only because they found that coroner's report, wasn't it, that said, look, as far as I'm concerned, this is a homicide and it needs to be investigated. But yet that had been sat in a cupboard for 30 years, and it were only one of them 2 reporters.
Yeah, like when they mentioned on the funeral for Nancy, Snuka showed up there, and the father-in-law had to literally like pull him off the coffin, and I don't know where they said like Snuka said she looks terrible. Like,
Yeah, yeah, she looks terrible, and her sister's like, "Well, if she's dead, what do you expect?" You know, and then the funeral director popped up and said, "Look, you know, well, we did the best we could, but she had bruises around her neck. Again, that did no favors for Snooker. And how come the funeral directors noticed it, the police didn't?"
and also they said the Undertaker. When you heard them say Undertaker, were you thinking of Mark Calloway?
Well, no, because they said that the Undertaker came over, and I was like, "Hey," and then when he explained the situation, I was like, "Oh no, he didn't actually slap him, tell him to respect the situation and tombstoning them." But it was the way that they said he turned up in just like really short shorts, a vest top, and flip flops. It's like, no, sorry, that's the funeral of somebody who's supposed to have meant a lot to you. Put the effort in.
But also, it seems like when they found like she had marks and all that kind of stuff, like you said, and the police couldn't find anything.
Yeah, police didn't notice that. I'm sorry.
I called BS when I heard that. I was like, that's not true. You guys did see something.
Yeah, absolute bullshit. Yeah, because as soon as the funeral guy mentioned that to him, it was like, but yet the police didn't see anything suspicious about it. And I thought that's what made me think straight away. This is a cover-up job. Is this? It's, you know, because you know the police never saw the bruise marks. I'm sorry, but they would, because the amount of time they would have had her body.
And this was during the time Snuka was literally like on top of the world, pretty much, right?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, it was bringing in big money for, you know, WWF at the time, and you know what have you. So yeah, I mean, but I mean to just turn up wearing that's just disrespectful.
And Vince calling Nancy's family saying like you want 20 grand and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, with $25,000 seemed right. And when the mum said, "Do you think that's what my daughter's life's worth?" That is, to me, that is just complete disrespect.
It's not money. Our family, our daughter or sister, she's gone because of one of your guys.
Yeah, we've lost a member of our family, and I mean, what was that 20 grand for? That hush money?
Yeah, right.
Because it's not like, I mean, if his wife had got a check, then you could understand that maybe it's what she's entitled to from what he'd earned, and you know, percentage of merchandise, etc., etc. But to just ring the family of the woman who essentially was his mistress and offer them 20 grand, to me, that's you know, hush money.
Seriously, yeah, like it's really
thinking about it now, and we've talked about this. You brought this up. That whole documentary just sort of throws a whole shade on how crooked possibly WWF was back then.
Yeah, like I try to explain this to my parents about like what the whole Dark Side of the Ring documentaries are supposed to be. It's like Hollywood with wrestling. You think you made to the big times until you realize being in the wrestling business is not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like when they're on about after he got fired from WWF, and then they said he went the way of the wrestler, and he went down, and you know he started doing independent stuff. And he's like, I mentioned it to you once. I think one of the other reviews. I remember when we were chatting about I saw him in that ECW pay-per-view that I watched to review, and I was like, dude, 93 Snooker's still stacked. Why? How come? And then obviously this come out, and I was like, oh, that'd be why come he weren't at WWF anymore, because he could have still gone.
Yeah,
it was still in shape and everything, but I never knew until I watched this, and it was like this little buzzer went off, and I was like, that's why he was wrestling for ECW in '93 and probably getting paid about $80 or something for it.
I think Snuka was also the first ECW champion. I think he was the first.
He was in the pay-per-view I watched, and I've got the notes ready to review for. He was the TV champion, and he wrestled twice that night. He won the first match, and then he had another match later on. But yeah, when it said in that review about him doing the independence, I was like, that would be why he was wrestling for ECW in '93 then, because obviously he had his big fall from grace, as it were, and
Yeah, a lot of former WWE or WWF, I should say, back in the day, a lot of athletes who worked with Vince, who used to work there, are with ECW. Snuka's there, Tito's there, Don Morocco's there, Jindy Anvil Neidhart, Bulldog, Road Warrior Hawk, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was
All
going to say like that same pay per view. Texas Tornado were there, Kerry Von Erich. I saw a pay per view where they had Axe under a mask. And yeah, there were quite a few big names.
And also in this documentary, did you know that Snuka wrote a book? Because I sure didn't. I didn't know about that.
No, I mean, did it get released or did it get pulled because of what the whole trial?
I'm
Because
not sure.
I've not seen it, ever seen it like on when I've been looking for wrestling books. I've never seen Snuka's.
I didn't know that he even wrote a book, but also mentioning that, like they said in his book, that Snuka mentioned that Nancy ruined his life.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I heard
like
that, when I heard that, I even said this, like, even for me, as like as a fan, I was like, really? She ruined your life?
yeah, yeah. She ruined your life because you got sacked from WWF because
Or
essentially for all intents and purposes
maybe,
you killed her.
yeah,
So
or
yeah, I
maybe
can see
he's
how she
mentioning
ruined your
like,
life.
sorry,
Yeah, it's like he for all intents, for what that documentary taught us, he killed her. All the proof is in the pudding. He killed her. So yeah, he killed her, and then he got sacked from WWF because of all the heat that were on him. So yeah, I mean, I can see how yeah, she ruined his life.
or maybe he
Therefore,
could
just
be saying
inconvenient.
like, or maybe he could be saying like she ruined his life by not getting sacked by WWE because people see him as a murderer.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's like
Either one still is not good. Either one's still not good.
yeah, I mean, either way, it's still on him. You
Yeah.
know, he was the one that started the affair. He was the one that put his hands on her, and it's like they said there were numerous times they've been called out to hotels because people have been complaining about it sounded like you were throwing her around and hitting her and stuff.
Like she was
But
screaming literally like bloody murder, pretty much.
yeah, but then when police turned up, she never pushed it. She was the archetypal or the stereotypical battered wife, abused girlfriend. She wouldn't report it and she just stayed with him because he loves me. I'm sorry, any man who puts his hands on a woman does not love him.
Yeah, seriously. Like you're no man if you put your hands on a woman. If you think you're a man, you are not. You were
You're not. You're a scumbag.
seriously. Like it just then out of nowhere the case is reopened, and this is when you're just now noting like knowing about the whole case. Like I knew about it, but I didn't know fully. And then next thing you know, I started doing the same thing what you did, searching and all that kind of stuff. And notice Snuka has changed this story about this whole thing many of times.
Yeah, this is well. They were telling various people at the hotel, weren't they? And even at the hospital, they were telling people stories, but it were like for the most part the same story, but there were silly little bits in between that didn't add up. So like you got all these witnesses, and it were like all you got to do is get if you told 8 nurses, 4 of them in court, and they all say, oh yeah, he said this, and there's enough discrepancies. You can have that one. I'll give you that one. That's my big word for the day: discrepancies in the story to prove him guilty, because that's the sort of thing that lawyers and stuff are all over, aren't they? Anything that don't make sense, and even judges and juries pick up on it and think, well, yeah, for the most part, it's the same story, but in one story, oh, she slipped forward and banged her head. Oh, she slipped backwards. It's make your mind up. Which way did she slip?
Yeah, all
And why
right.
did you go out to help her up?
Like she slipped from falling backwards after going to the bathroom, or they were roughhousing and she hit
Yeah,
her head.
yeah, we were wrestling, and I must have pushed her a bit too hard because she did fall over and bang her head, but we didn't think out of it.
Like,
It's yeah, it's one of them things. He set himself up really.
and when the case is finally going to happen, and then it gets called off because Snuka is legitimately sick during this trial. So
Yeah, he got
stomach cancer.
stomach cancer, and his defense said he got dementia as well, and so that he didn't even know why he was there.
He did look confused though. When they showed the clips of him going to the case, he did.
He did genuinely look like he didn't have a clue where he was going.
Yeah,
but he put more effort into that dressing up for that court appearance than he did for a funeral.
And Snuka passes away. Now, here's the thing. Like, it's kind of proved, like, this documentary does kind of show you that Snuka did probably murder his girlfriend. But the thing is, like, even with this whole case, he doesn't even get a chance to defend himself, like, you know, try to prove that he's an innocent man. But in the same times, like, both, like, Nancy's gone, Snuka's gone. So technically, this case will be forever unsolved.
It'll just be one of them unsolved cases that'll just sit there. But what got me with that is his widow, because obviously she stayed married to him despite the whole, I'm assuming, open fact that he was seeing this other woman.
Oh, this is a new wife. It's not the wife that he was with in the 80s.
Oh, is it? I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a new wife. His widow that showed on the documentary, they got married in 2004. So this is a lot different wife than it was in the 80s.
That would explain why she was so calm about the whole other woman thing then. Right, yeah, so yes. Yeah.
I got confused too myself when I saw that. I was like, wait, what? She was like, then I found out, I was like, oh, okay, so this is a different wife. Okay.
I just took it that were his original wife that he'd been cheating on, because like I said to you, she seemed very calm about it. But having said that, she's all them years to sort of let her anger and that out. But if that were another wife, then yeah, she will know what went on. But I mean, even she said that she felt for the family, that they're not going to see justice served and everything. And she was like, I just, you know, she felt so bad for me. And you could, I mean, to me, she genuinely did look upset for him and say, you know, I really do feel for him.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that she really wanted to see justice for that family too. As much as she loves Snuka, you could tell like she wanted to see something like happen for that family.
Well, you got a question, because obviously if they got married in 2004, there'll have been, you know, reports and stuff about it. So she must have known.
Maybe. Like, I don't know. Like,
so if a man has essentially been, you know, accused of killing his mistress, why aren't there alarm bells going off in her head thinking, right, well, you know, he cheated on his wife. So, you know, I mean, having said that, the Snuka Sheila married is a lot different to the one that we're touring around with the WWF. So, yeah, I suppose that's a bit of a moot point. But the fact that he put his hands on her, even at that age, he was still capable of doing that.
Yeah, maybe.
Nine times out of 10, men are stronger than women, and that is not a sexist comment. That is just science.
Now, if you saw Snuka like back then, you could definitely tell he was a lot stronger than any other person.
Oh yeah, I mean, when he walked into that courtroom, that were well, I don't even know what word to use. I suppose sad would probably be the most.
Like I said before, Snuka in the 80s, he looked like a legit real life caveman. And if you think that's racist me to say, it's not, because the guy actually looked like a legit guy from the caveman era coming back and became a wrestler. He was he was like that strong. He was that built. He was that beefy. It was just like it was just like, it was scary. Like, you did not want to, you know, piss this guy off. Like, he could probably tear you apart like Harry was. Now, Snuka today, like, well, not you know what I mean by today, right?
They showed him going into the courthouse.
Yeah, that's not the same Snuka from the 80s. Like, you could definitely kind of tell, like, he probably grown up. Like, he got clean and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot different Snuka, I could tell you that.
Yeah.
Or I could be wrong and just trying to think of something good for the guy.
No, I mean, you would think that obviously with maturity and everything, a lot of people do tend to realise that they've got a life to live and stuff like that ain't worth it. And then you get other people who just can't quit, and it ends up, I mean, they talk about the demons and stuff, and it is, but yeah, like you said, I mean, Snooker in his prime took a coconut to the head of Roddy Piper, and even Roddy Piper admitted that weren't a gimmick coconut, that were a legit coconut, that we were just going to hit him, and it shattered on his head. And even like when they finished recording it, everybody were like, "You all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, fine, but don't do that again," And he was like, "I didn't expect it to smash." I don't know. I've heard different stories that he picked up the wrong coconut because there was supposed to be one that were ready to shatter, but he picked the wrong one up and hit him with a legit one. But I mean, you don't know. But I mean, either way, the coconut to the head's going to work, and the dude just took it. Now we've all seen the video of it. All wrestling fans have
It's
seen
very famous. It's a very famous clip.
Yeah, and it just like bang, and it's like, and you're like, anybody else would have been on the deck, blood pissing out of their head. Snooker just stood there and looks at him with them really wild eyes, and you're like, dude, he's gonna kill you, bro. You could die.
I remember watching the documentary of Roddy Piper, and he was talking about the coconut part, and he's actually dropping them, and you can hear how hard they are hitting on the table. And he was like, even thinking, it's like, oh, okay, the bananas, coconuts. It's like, oh, okay. Jimmy said this is okay. Like, like it was kind of racist if you think about it. Like, back then, what they were trying to do is like, a little tree for you to climb up and down like a monkey, like.
Yeah.
And like, if that was a promo today, that would not go well.
No, it wouldn't happen. There's no way it'd happen. But
it's like OSW Review's intro theme song said, it was acceptable in the 80s. It was a different time, so.
Yeah, it was acceptable. Yeah, I mean, it's weird how you mentioned that. I mean, I was watching tangenting again, but it fits in the 80s thing. A guy reviewing Dire Straits' Money for Nothing.
I heard about that movie. Never seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's a song that they did, and it's all about MTV and stuff. And it was made in the 80s. I think I don't know, don't quote me, but I'm sure I read somewhere that was the first video to actually be played on MTV when it launched. Yeah, because it had them in the title and everything. So they're like, what's more fitting? Play the video for this song when we launch. And there's a couple of lines in there. It says, I'm not even going to say it because it'll get us taken down and stuff. But I'll tell you what, a couple of things in there. I mean, if you listen to the song, you'll pick them out because I heard them and I was like, whoa, because the guy paused them and it were an African American guy that were doing it. And he's like, there's no way you get away with that nowadays. I'm like, dude, I didn't even realize that line were in there. And I've heard that song, I mean, like, thousands of times.
Oh,
I've heard that song and I've never once picked out that line until somebody else noticed it. And I was like, shit, yeah, that line's in there. But yeah, it's like in 80s, like you said with the Snooker promo of Fruit and the Tree and everything. It's like, yeah, it's racist as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was, they got away with it.
And also, Piper was a heel, so technically he was doing. It was like the whole thing with New Jack. New Jack, here we go again, bringing New Jack up again.
This is it. This is where we get roasted now.
Like New Jack doing the OJ promo, he was doing that to get heat.
Yeah.
And Piper doing the whole coconut and bananas and all that kind of racism with Snuka, he was doing that to get heat. So
yeah, it was a bad guy. He was supposed to piss the fans off and make them angry and stuff. That was his job. And it's like we said, there's few wrestlers that can do it so well that they make you genuinely hate them. But yeah, I mean, they had a good rivalry, Piper and Snooker. I mean, I never saw much of the Snooker and Morocco one because that were overdone me by the time.
Did you ever watch the cage match?
I have seen the cage match, yeah. I have. It was a long time ago, but I have seen it. And you look at it at one point. I mean, in fact, I've watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I was like, that were pretty bad. But I were used to like cage matches as we know them now and Attitude Era cage matches. But then as I sort of matured, got older, you can watch stuff and you appreciate it for the match and the story. You know, as daft as it sounds, it's like I never really thought anything special of Savage Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. But then when I rewatched WrestleMania 3 as an adult, and you know, a wrestling fan who's got a bit more knowledge of everything, you know, you watch it and you think, no, that is a really good match. But yeah, I mean, it's like we said, you know, Snooker were ahead of his time. He were a pioneer. You know, jumping off the top rope as a finisher. I mean, the only other person I can think of in 80s in WWF that were doing out of top rope were Dynamite Kid.
Yeah, Dynamite and Brett never went on the top rope. He was always on the second rope guy. So
Yeah, it was a second rope elbow drop, wasn't it?
yeah,
Even Lawler were sort of second rope when he dropped fist one, you know, occasionally probably went to the top. But I mean, I can only think in WWF at that time there were Dynamite with diving input and Snooker with body splash. There were only two people that were really launching themselves off the top rope.
and then Randy came along, and then he jumped off the
Savage,
top.
yeah, with elbow. So yeah, that's the only three I can think of. Perfect never really went off the top rope much.
He didn't need to. He didn't.
Nah, and he could have wrestled a mop and put on a good match.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, Snooker were ahead of his time, but it's like we said.
I also found out Snooker was supposed to be world champion, but then Hulk Hogan came in.
You know, I was waiting for you to mention him. I mean, I know you mentioned him earlier, but when they were interviewing, I don't know if it was Morocco or that Sam Fatu guy, and they were on about Snooker and how good he were and how big he was. And they were like, oh, and he were a better wrestler than Hogan. And I thought, well, that's not hard. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, Snooker there were 1,000,001 wrestlers that were better than Hogan. Hogan just brought the money in. You know, that's what annoyed me about when Brett lost to Yokozuna. And then when you read the story about it and you understand backstage politics and stuff as you get older and you learn more about the wrestling business, it was like Hogan wanted to win it off Yokozuna and didn't want to beat Brett for it because it was like, oh, Brett's not a challenge for me and stuff. And it's like, no, Brett, you know, if they did it right, they could have just done it as Brett were an absolute wrestling machine and Hogan weren't. So it was like, how will Brett beat him? But no, they had to let Brett lose to Yokozuna, so then they could say, oh, straight away, oh, come on, Hogan, we challenge you. And then obviously Hogan steps into the ring, becomes the Roman's title. It's bullshit. But I would have loved to have seen Snooker back in the day as WWF champion. Did he even get any title runs? You see, again, that's a travesty.
Not even the tag team titles.
Not even Intercontinental.
Nope.
So that's shocking.
I know, right?
You got a guy like that.
Looks like Snooker. You think he'll at least have like one title reign.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's pulling in viewers. He's, you know, more popular than Hogan was at the time. Or, you know, he's as popular as Hogan. And he never got. That's, yeah, looking back, yeah, I don't remember ever seeing him with a belt. But yeah, that's shocking. That.
The only belts I've actually ever seen him win is NWA, ECW, and other indie promotions.
Yeah, see, at least they realised, you know, what a talent he was. Too late, like, for the most part, but...
I mean, look at Jake the Snake Roberts. Do you think Jake ever needed the title?
No. But again, he's another one that way should have had a belt. I mean, this is a whole new subject for another video, is this?
I agree. That's what I was trying to get to. Is like, Jake, I don't think ever needed the title. Do you think Snooker ever needed the title?
I mean, no, I suppose not. I mean, for some wrestlers, you tend to think that they need the title to make them legit. I mean, like, to me, I mean, you know my feelings about Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to put a belt on him to make him look like he could do something. But yeah, I mean, you can watch any amount of matches. I mean, And everybody says like Cena's got the 5 moves of doom. Come on, Hogan had what, the 4 moves of doom.
Yeah,
Build up, slap him around, leg drop, win.
but his matches in Japan were really great. It was nothing like he was in America, though.
I've got to be honest, I've never seen any of his Japanese stuff, so that might be something that I might have to check out if it's different.
You will be surprised because here's the thing: the Hogan you're used to in America is nothing like the Hogan in Japan. You actually see
I have heard his style in Japan were a lot different
it
to
really
what it was in the States.
really,
Yeah, I might have to bite the bullet and check some out at some point. But
when you do, review it.
yeah, if I get to check some, if I can get hold of some, yeah, I will do.
They're on YouTube. You can find them definitely. My favorite one he did was against Stan Hansen.
Stan Hansen, right? I'll have a look for that then. Hogan, did they just have one match, or is there a particular match I should look for?
That one and the one when he won the IWGP title was still my favorite one too.
Right, I'll have a look for them. But yeah, going back to your question, I don't suppose looking back, Snooker did need a title. I suppose he's just one of them wrestlers that you would like to see with a belt.
Yeah,
to get
when
that.
he won you think that cage match, you think he should have won the Intercontinental title, right?
Yeah, you'd think that there'd be some sort of massive payoff for it other than just winning a rivalry.
But do you think it had to do with the whole thing with Nancy? That's why he didn't win? Because that was like a few months later, right after the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that his temper and stuff that had gone on before then would have been the worst kept secret in locker room. I mean, I know they said he was pretty private, but it's like there were other wrestlers like that. Sam Fatu said that he were opposite to them in the hotel the night that she died, and all he heard were like flashing blue lights and everything outside Snooker's room. But there will have been other wrestlers that will have been in rooms closer to him regularly that will have heard what was going on, and they must have known or had the suspicions. But again, if they didn't say it, why not? Again, it could have all been avoided if people had just spoke up. But I suppose, what do you do? Oh yeah, by the way, Vince, your top star is beating his woman around, and at the end of the day, he's not in my ring, he's not on my TV program, so why should I give a shit what he's doing when he's in his hotel room at night?
Yeah, and the sad part is it's never going to be solved. That's the part that's sad. It's going to remain unsolved.
Yeah, family never going to get that justice, that closure, that quite frankly they deserve.
Yeah.
But it's the way it goes, isn't it? For some people, it's really unfortunate that they never get that where they can say, right, this is it. And the sister said, didn't they, when it got announced they were going to court, they were like, finally we're going to get our day, and then when judge were like, oh no, there's no way he can defend himself. We've been told by doctors that he's dementia, he ain't got a clue what's going on, so we'll just throw a case out. And then, like you said, not long after he passed, I mean, they must have been kicking themselves, thinking, he got away with it. Yeah. He got away with murder.
It's just a shame. Like that family's never going to get any closure at all. And the part that's like, I felt bad for Fatu in this one too. Like you could definitely tell that he's starting to think like there was something, but you could definitely tell this Snuka meant the world to him.
Yeah, well, it's like he said it when his uncles, however they were, edge drinkers, Stafford and Seeker, they were his uncles or something, and they just put him in ring and just beat the crap out of him constantly. And Snuka was the one person that looked after him, so obviously he's going to have that hero complex thing with him. But at the end, when they mentioned about how Snuka had told police that there were her and him in car, she'd gone out to use the toilet, and as she was coming back, she slipped. And they'd never mentioned that Sam Fatu went in car, and he was like, I've never heard that, But you could see it were like, even then, he looked to be sort of questioning it, like, well, could he have done it? But I think he refused to
believe it.
To let go of the Snuka that he knew, the one that he travelled with and had laughs with, and worked out with and what have you. And I think he just didn't want to lose that Snuka. He didn't want to accept what were happening.
Yeah, like with me, like with Snuka being one of my heroes, I don't want to lose that. I still have great memories with Snuka and all that kind of stuff, but knowing who he is now is just like I said, I never really known the guy, but just watching this documentary didn't help.
Yeah, but it's like with the whole Benoit when it just casts a massive shadow over another great wrestler. But all you can do is just sort of accept that what they did in real life were wrong, but what they did between them ropes were amazing.
Yeah. Well, that was a great depressing episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, we need some upbeat. What's the next one? Don Morocco.
The
Dino
next
Bravo.
is Dino Bravo.
AC. So this one's going to be interesting because this
Yeah.
one will mention the whole mafia thing, won't it? So
Mhm.
this will be a slight curveball because I don't know much of it. I only know from I think it got mentioned in maybe series 1 or season 1. Sorry, as you guys call it.
I watched it last night, and I gotta say it's very intriguing. It is sad though, but it is very intriguing. So
Well, I'll get that one watched as soon as possible, then, and hopefully by weekend we can do a review on that one.
sounds good to me. So yeah, for this one, everybody, we tried to do some like happy, talk about some other stuff on this documentary. But the part is, it's hard to not talk about what the whole thing with Snuka was. But,
Yeah, 'cause that's what the documentary was, wasn't it? So you can't really avoid the situation.
But yeah, Richard, thank you for being a part of this review again. I'm having
No
fun
problem.
doing these reviews with you, brother.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, like it's good for us too, especially with what's going on with the world right now. For me, it's good for me. Like I'm having really much fun doing these reviews with you.
Yeah, it's that fresh face to talk to and interact with, and just chill out with and discuss some. I think when we finish season 2, if we're still in this horrible situation, which touch wood, we won't be. We'll be out of it soon. We could always go back and review season 1 together.
Yeah, and I'm hoping this whole thing doesn't last long. The whole quarantine thing.
Yeah.
But for right now, yeah, I'm down for doing that. And
Yeah.
and also, by the way, this is not the last time we're going to be on here. Right after this, we're going to be doing a podcast. So stay tuned for that, everybody.
That
What
will
we're
be a
gonna
lot more upbeat.
That's going to be a lot of fun to do.
And if you watch the podcast, we would like to mention now. We will put a warning. I'll make sure that Josh does put a warning up. Warning: this contains Mr. Bones. As people who have a nut allergy will probably develop, some sort of bones allergy because the guy's nuttier than a Snickers bar.
That's true.
He's nuttier than Squirrel Turd.
Oh God, yeah. So get ready for that, everybody. If you
Yeah,
want
he's
to watch
so
our
much
podcast, it's on the Maniac Podcast YouTube channel. We haven't done anything on there since the whole Street Fighter movie that me and Mr. Bones did. So we're making a return. Richard's going to be back on the channel. I'm excited to do this podcast.
Yes.
But again, to Nancy, I'm sorry what happened, and I hope you found peace, and may you rest in peace. And Snuka, still have great memories, still love you, even though what happened. But may you rest in peace too. But in the part, it's just, I feel sorry for the Argentina family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like we said, parents obviously passed and they never got to see Justice, the sisters, and they were going to see Justice, and 23-year-old, still kid, 23-year-old kid. It's an absolute tragedy. So yeah, terrible loss.
Yeah, definitely. But I hope we get answers someday, but unfortunately, this will be staying unsolved. But again, Maniacs, if you're ever in an abusive relationship, talk to somebody. Tell somebody. Tell your family. Tell your parents, or tell somebody. Get out of it.
Friend, get counselling.
Yeah.
Do something. Don't end up another statistic.
And it's not just for men, for women either. Like men too. Like if you guys,
men can be
anybody. If you're in an abusive relationship, call somebody, tell somebody. Don't keep it hidden. That's
don't go through on your own.
Well, Richard, thank you for being a part of this. Where can
Thank
we
you for
find
having me.
you? Where can we find you on Twitter?
At Pete Rick.
At Pete Rick, and also he's got 2 YouTube channels, Rick Pete and oWo UK. He's also got a merchandise store. Link down below. Go buy some of his merch. Go support him. And he's trying to reach a new goal for his YouTube channel. And what is that goal?
We're trying to get Rick Pete to 200 subscribers. I know it's not a lot, but you know, it'd be nice.
Hey, it's
Nice
still
to remember.
you'll get there. I know that for a fact. Give him that goal. Show him support. Go subscribe. And also go subscribe to Oregon Wrestling Observer.
Yes.
Follow me on Twitter. And follow me on Instagram. And go like the Oregon Wrestling Observer Facebook page. Thank you, Maniacs. We love you. Take care. And stay safe out there. Bye.
Bye.
Broken bones from parts unknown. Simplify wonders of why. Broken promises reveal.